Hi, welcome back. Our previous lesson was on budget constraint. Today, we'll be moving on to how changes in income affect the budget constraint. We saw in our previous lesson that the budget constraint is the representation of the bundles among which a consumer may choose given her income and the prices she faces. So in other words, it shows the feasible consumption bundles given current income and the prevailing prices. So the question now is, what if any of these things change? So today we'll focus on what happens to the budget when income changes. Let's first consider a consumer named Ella who earns £100 a week and consumes only two good X and Y. Now assume the price of good X is 5 and the price of good Y is 10. So given this information, we can write Ella's budget constraint as 5X plus 10Y equals 100. So this can be represented by the figure that we have here on the budget line B1. So we saw in our previous lesson that given this budget constraint and the prices of good X and Y, if Ella doesn't buy any of good Y, the maximum amount of good X that Ella can buy is the X-intercept, which is 20. And then the maximum amount of Y that Ella can buy if she doesn't buy X is 10. So with this information, we draw our budget constraint B1. Now, what happens if Ella's income decreases from 100 to 50? So the first thing we have to do now is to write our new budget. The prices of both goods have not changed. The price of good X is still 5 and the price of good Y is still 10. So we have the new budget as 5X plus 10Y. Now the income is no longer 100 but 50. So our new budget is going to be represented as this. So let's look at our X-intercept, which is given this income and the prices, what is the maximum amount of good X that Ella can buy? So if we have 5X plus 10 and then Ella doesn't buy anything of good Y equals 50. With this, then we have our new X to be equal to 10. So then given this new income and the price of good X, the X-intercept now decreases from 20 to 10. So then what is the Y-intercept? So with this new information, our new Y-intercept is going to be 5, 0 if Ella doesn't buy any of good X plus 10Y, which is equal to 50. So this is going to give us a new Y-intercept of Y being equal to 5. So with the new income and the price of good Y, now the maximum amount of Y Ella can buy if she doesn't buy any of X now decreases to 5. So with this information, our slope is minus 5, which is the price of good X, divided by 10, which is the price of good Y, which is equal to minus 0.5. Now let's see how this new budget line looks on the graph. So we know that the X-intercept now is 10 and then the Y-intercept now is 5. So we can see that when the income of Ella decreased, if without the change in the price of either good X or good Y, the budget line shifted parallel to the left, which indicated a decrease. Even though the budget line has shifted, we can see that the slope has not changed. The slope of the original budget line is still minus 5 over 10, which is minus 0.5. And the slope of the new budget line, which is BO, is also minus 0.5. Now, the slope does not change because the prices have not changed. And you can see that when calculating the slope is calculated as the ratio of the two prices. So because the price of the goods have not changed, even if income changes, the slope of the new and the old budget line are going to be the same. Now, what happens if Ella's income now increases from 100 to 150? So the new budget line is then going to be 5X plus 10Y, which is equal to 150. So prices are still the same, but income has now increased. Now the new X-intercept is going to be 5X plus 10 0. If Ella doesn't buy any of Y equals 150. So with this information, the maximum X that Ella can buy now is going to be 30. Then the new y-intercept is going to be 50 plus 10y equals 150. With this information, y is now equal to 15. The intercept of x has increased to 30, and then intercept of y has also increased to 15. And then the slope of this new curve is still the ratio of the two prices, which is minus 5 divided by 10, and is still minus 0.5. Now let's represent this new budget line on our graph. So the first thing is the x-intercept, which increased to 30, and the y-intercept, which increased to 50. If we connect these two lines, we have our new budget line B2. This represents an increase in income, shifting the budget line parallel from B1 to B2. And we also note here that even though the budget line has shifted, the slope is still the same. So what we have seen today is when income changes but relative prices do not, parallel shift in the budget constraint is induced. Now, if income decreases, the budget constraint shifts to the left from B1 to BO. And if income increases, the budget constraint shifts to the right from B1 to B2. But the slope does not change because the relative prices of the goods have not changed. So this is all that we have on our lesson on how changes in income affect the budget constraint. Our next lesson will be on how changes in prices affect the budget constraint. If you enjoyed today's lesson, consider subscribing. Thank you.